go.
The beat tagged up, but I love it though.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey girl, you gon' call me.
Yeah.
You gon' call me. Hey girl, when you gon' call me.
Miss Richards, I see you. I'm about to tag you in a few minutes. Welcome to the Mental Wealth Podcast, everybody. The Mental Wealth live stream.
Someone is quarantine. Baby girl, I need kerosene. It's a war scene with no medic here. Ain't none of them got better glare. Ain't none of them got better hair. You with a better tears with a better fear. You might as well sleep with a better bears. Name another man who got better gear, and I'm cooler too. Self-esteem more bulletproof. You in a pool of pool trying to swim it out. Dealing with drama in a rented house on a narrow block where the fiends work. Guess you really gon' need church. Where we going, you don't need shirts. Stretch it out, our whole knees work. Hey girl, when you gon' call me?
Yeah. Welcome, man. Welcome. I want to bring you in, man, to the Mental Wealth Podcast or the live stream right now. Let's appreciate you and yours for checking in. I got a beautiful, wonderful guest coming on today. Does amazing work here in the school community in Brooklyn. Just such a beautiful soul, definitely a smart individual, someone with a lot of style, someone who has put in the work and is an up and coming within the NYC area and beyond globally, because I'm all about global chess. So look for this person doing big and better things within life, man, in general. So you're now live with me. Shout out to everybody's checking in and that will be checking in. Shout out to everyone that will be checking in and that's checking in right now. Please please subscribe, and please share. Your contributions matter. Your ability to like and share and to just let other people know about it matters. Word of mouth, so we could do bigger and better things, so we could do, take this thing global, so we can talk to everyone about their mental health and how important it is just for you and yours to have that discussion amongst each other, man. It's extremely important. Other communities do it. Other communities been doing it. It's important that we get on it and we start making it happen. So without further ado, let's see if I can get my guest to tap in. So, I gotta make sure he's ready. He's ready. So let's see. We're telling all your followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi. Aren't you dancing?
Yeah. Welcome. So,
Thank you, Halson. It is an honor to be on here. It is an honor.
yeah, I appreciate you for stepping in. Look, so I wanted to talk to you because, I remember at times you would step into my office and you would have conversations with me. You would converse with me about certain things that you were experiencing, things you were going through, and just telling me about your life. And we've always just been really good at chopping it up and just having a conversation. So I thought that was pretty dope. And then, you would show me things, introduce me, bring me around people and bring me to your events and things just open invitation. And I'm like, yo, let me check something out. And just to see the work you have done and the things that you're continuously doing, I think that's an amazing amazing quality that you have. And so I wanted to pick your brain and just figure out who you are, what you have going on within yourself, and just see how, what we can do to help you out and just chop it up and have some game here. All right.
That
So
sounds good.
thank you. So my first of all, who are you? What is your name?
Um, I'm known by two things actually. Uh, some people know me as Anatha Richards, and some people know me as Landra Richards. So my family knows me as Landra, and my professional background, as in my modeling professional background, they know me as Anatha. I grew up in Guyana, I was born
Hmm.
in Guyana, but I was raised in Africa for about 14 years in Botswana, where I learned Setswana and French. And then my experience there has just opened my eyes to a vast diversity of culture and people and
Hmm.
just a different way of life. And then also moving back to, I'm sorry, also being there, I spent some time in countries around there like South Africa, Zimbabwe. And so I've I've I have a piece of them within me.
Mm.
So I might seem I've moved to America, I've moved here, and some things that I do are really strange to them. And they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, are these things normal here?" And they're like, "Girl, no."
Yeah,
So there's there's a lot of different cultures that I have imprinted in me. Plus, I'm now adapting to the American culture.
I love
So
that.
there's that too.
I love that.
I Go ahead.
No, I was just, saying, I don't want to cut you off. Please keep sharing your wisdom.
Okay. I After moving back and forth between Guyana, Botswana, and here, I got my bachelor's degree over in Guyana first, in biology.
Okay, hold on,
I
hold on, hold on, hold on. You moving too fast for me, real quick, baby. Slow it down, cause you moving
Okay.
too fast. I said that too fine to be moving too. All right, hold on. So it's a lyric. It's a lyric. So okay. So look, you shared so much with us just now, and I love that. And I want you to continue on. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, and we're just gonna continue to. Hopefully, it just keeps streamlining.
Okay.
Um. So my first question for you is, how did a young woman such as yourself, from Guyana with different cultural backgrounds as well, end up modeling and teaching in New York City? Like, what has that journey been like for you?
I think it's been a push from community.
Hmm.
Like your environment plays such a crucial role into who you become as a person and your character. Because a lot of the times people walk around and see visions for you that you
Mm.
don't see for yourself.
Mm.
And my 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 intentions growing up wasn't to be a teacher at all. I was like, I'm never gonna be a teacher. But like I come around people and be who I am. And they'd be like, you're really good at this and you're really good at that. And these things slowly start being planted in your spirit. And it's like,
Mm.
hey, you're right. Why don't I just use my talent for what it would benefit others, or what would be most fitting for me, rather than reject who I am as a person just because of what I'm seeing other people do. And a lot of the times people see my body, they see my figure, and they're like, "Do you model?" And I'm like, "No." And then they see how empathetic I am or how patient I am with their children and other people as well. And they're like, "You should teach my child this. You should do this." And slowly, I ended up opening the doors towards modeling
Hmm.
and teaching. I started modeling in Guyana
Hmm.
with this agency. I think it was a talent management. I forgot what they called themselves, but it was not the best experience. It
Hmm.
was not the best experience.
Talk about that. Why was it not a good experience for you?
So, as many people do know, or as many people should know,
Hmm.
there's a dark side to the modeling industry that a lot of people don't tell you about. They have after parties that look so good, that look so entertaining, that they're eye-catching, but
Hmm.
behind the scenes are literally models that are sometimes pushed to um encourage people to stay behind, drink alcohol, and they get drunk and, you know, show off their bodies. And like they I've been in a situation where I've been touched,
Hmm.
I've been groped in areas that I wasn't comfortable with. And at that time
Mm.
I was 17, 18, 19, 20. And for me, my mind was, believe it or not, my mind was super, super innocent. I was super, super innocent. So they would test waters first. A lot of the times, the men there
Right.
would see women as um, objects and a fun time. And I'm not going to blame them too. A lot of the women in the modeling industry present themselves as that.
Mm.
And so we're exposed to being sexually harassed.
Wow. That's deep.
Um, and then the reason why I didn't have much of a good time was because of that, the treatment that I was getting as a young woman and then also as a model. Like,
Mm.
there's a way that designers would talk to models or instruct them. A lot of the times they don't see you as a person, but they see you as a product, which I mean, okay, we are the product, but how can you forget at the same time our bodies is not just an instrument or tool for you to use to
Mm.
show off your clothing, but we are characters. We are the people that bring your clothes to life.
Right.
So treat us
Right.
as people. Um, Treat us as
That's
your literal
real.
brand or as your literal baby, you
Right.
know?
Right. That's real. It makes you feel as if like you are just a product. You know, rather if you get too big, get too much weight, then you're defective, right? We're gonna discard you, or we're gonna just
Oh
treat you
yeah. Oh
because we
yeah, for
need
sure.
we need your mind, right? More than anything. So, and we need your body, we need your physical beauty. So we need for you to be a certain type of way. But at the same time, it's like you were saying, it's hurtful because, you know, we're human beings, right? At the same time. So it's kind of like it weighs on us heavy, and who we are. Um,
Mhm.
so you also, and not to make light of that, because I definitely know you have, you know, short on time. I want to just pivot for a second. So you're also a teacher as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Science
so
teacher at Explore Charter
nice,
Schools.
dope. Hold on. We gotta bring it back real quick. Oh, I muted it because it was too much stuff going on. So much love to you for that. What is it? What has it been like being between balancing both of those worlds as a teacher and as a model? Like, how are both? How do they reflect different sides of who you are?
Well, that's that's tricky. How do they reflect different sides of who I am?
Hmm.
I feel like at most I'm able to bring my whole self in both of them. I don't have to change who I am when I go, well, not fully, but I have to no longer be animated in the classroom and in the teaching because I teach kindergarten through second grade. There's
Right.
there's a thing about education where you have to bring it to life by being an animated character in order to catch them, or else their minds, their attention span will just zoom and they're gone.
Mm.
So you, as much as possible, bring education to life with whatever you have as a person. um, but when you get into the modeling industry, I mean, they love character too. They love
Hmm.
character too. But in order for them to take you seriously, there needs to be a switch.
Mm.
Because I can't come into a professional setting and then be all animated. What would you guys like to do today? And it's like,
Well, you gotta be fierce. You gotta put on that
yeah,
face.
there's the runway, there's so many aspects of modeling where they can require different they can require you to portray different faces for them. It could
Hmm.
be something that's very fierce, very um intimidating, or it could be soft and gentle. And
Yeah.
yeah, so in modeling there's a requirement of a lot of switch up and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I feel like with teaching, the switch up is there, but it's never it's never a thing where I have to, how do I say it?
Uh,
I don't know how to I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to describe it either. There's a need for gentleness
yeah.
in everything that you do because these aren't adults. These are children soaking in everything that you're doing. So
Mhm.
in terms of them portraying different aspects of who I am, I feel like in some way they merge because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very gentle and kind person,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time there's also gentle demanding in the classroom, and then there's also that fierce walk on the runway,
Mm-hmm.
and I can merge those two and tune it down a little bit when I'm in the classroom, but then amp it up when I'm on the
And
runway. So
that,
they
yeah, that's,
kind of,
yeah. Go ahead.
in a way, they kind of blend well with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And in a sense, you still teaching yourself how to um, like Jay Z says, show them how to move in a room full of vultures. Like you still, in a sense, learning how to be, comfortable with yourself, but also be savvy, like understand the spaces that you're in at the same time, like you said, so you don't run into those characters that seem to like want to take advantage of you or hurt and harm
mhm.
you at the same
Yeah,
time, right? Like you still have to nurture that young girl in you at the same time,
yeah,
even though you're an adult, right?
yeah.
Okay. So my next question for you is being a young, black Caribbean woman in both the fashion and the education world. You mentioned one of the challenges was like, just the shady characters you run into and having to put, things of that nature. So what else, what I mean, have you had to push through? Like maybe about yourself, at times.
Hmm.
I'm in New York
What
City,
did I,
so excuse me for the background.
what did I have to push through as a Caribbean?
Yeah, as
I'm gonna need you
maybe,
to I'm gonna need you to explain a little bit more on what you're trying to get from that question.
right. So like coming from, Guyana,
Yeah,
obviously that's a different culture than American culture, right?
yeah.
So there may be some things culturally that is not
Oh,
accepted or accepted within that world. And then, being in America, there's things here culturally that's accepted and not accepted here in America. But just within yourself internally, just things that you're dealing with intrinsically, how do you, what are some things you had to push through to when you're in the
mhm.
modeling world right now?
Um, in the modeling world, some cultural things that I had to push through.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was like, as- I think I don't know how to describe it, but for us, there was there was well, in Africa, honestly, I have very African background. For us culturally, like there was no shame in like asking or sharing food, or like,
Hmm.
you if people asked you for some of your water, like everybody, a lot of people drink overhead and they never really put their mouth to their
Hmm.
bottle of water, and they're like open sharing those things. Like when I came up here, like, if I was like really hungry or something or whatnot, it's very odd. Like these are some really odd things. Like I
Mm.
couldn't there was like a weird look, like, girl, we don't share these things. Like, no, I can't. I'm hungry. I'm like, I get it, you're hungry, I'm hungry too, girl, do you mind helping me out? It was like an odd, you asking for food type of
Mm.
face. And
Mm.
then there's some girls that was like, oh girl, you know what, I'm gonna help, because they've been there, they've been through the suffering, the hunger and the suffering. But a lot of the times it was like an odd thing to share a lot of things,
Yeah.
especially food. That
Mm.
was one cultural shock for me. Like, you guys don't share food, even in school. Like, they don't encourage the children to share meals. I get it too, because it's a safety thing. Like,
Yeah.
people are allergic to certain things and they want to be careful.
Truth.
Like, there was that. We we used to be sharing any and everything
Right.
back in school. Everybody would set out their lunch bowl, put it in the middle, and then we literally have a feast.
Wow.
That was it every lunchtime. So if people didn't have food, like,
Hmm.
their stomachs were getting filled. And I don't really see much of that being encouraged here.
Yeah.
But that's
America.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say here it's more like, I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of like diseases and things that spread
Mhm.
germs and things of that nature where people actually get sick from and pass away from. So, I mean, I think that's part of some of it in a sense. But like you said, you mentioned a great point of like allergies. People are allergic to certain things, peanuts. We don't want to make sure it's not in peanut oil, things of that nature. But the one
Yeah.
thing you touched on that I wanted to elaborate on as well is like it was difficult. Is well, I'm not gonna share that point, but yeah, you did a. I'll share it probably at another time. But yeah. So share, keep going. I'm sorry. I had a point, but then I was like, nah, that's not needed right now. But yeah, keep going.
Oh, okay. And now I'm really curious what that point is.
No, you
Um,
so you mentioned you were talking about like I was like, what are some things I had to deal with in terms of just being in the mental therapy space, the social worker space. And I remember I ran across this lady, this white lady at one time when I was doing my internship, and she had an issue with me being being a young black man wanting to get in the social work area. She thought that was like crazy. Like she was like, and she admitted to one of the ladies I was like monitoring my productivity within the field.
yeah.
She was like, I got a little ageism too, and the lady was like, is that all you got? You know what I mean? Like it was like that funny. Like people are really try to box you out of certain spaces and
Yeah.
systematically try to keep you out of things. And I've experienced that, and I never thought I would experience that within the field I'm in, because I'm like, aren't we all in the space of trying to be open minded,
Yeah.
serving others, being fair, being just, having justice? And it was like the complete opposite for some reason. I was just
Mhm.
like, that's crazy. Um, so you mentioned like sharing and things of that nature. What about yourself in terms of internally? Like, um, did you have any self esteem issues, or are you just like, I've always been this beautiful woman, always felt this beautiful, vibe, or was it something you had to work up?
Uh, I definitely think it was something I had to work up. Um, Again, in order, I used to be very shy when I was like, since I was a child, I used to be very shy. You never used to hear me speak unless it was with somebody I was comfortable with. And it
Oh,
took a lot of breaking, and that breaking involved doing what I was uncomfortable with. And
mhm,
people shy away from what they're uncomfortable with, but it's the one thing that's holding you back from reaching your peak potential. And then also exposing yourself to different people. Like maybe the community that you're in is not your community. Like step
mhm,
out, find where you belong in that jigsaw puzzle. Sorry, jigsaw puzzle. In that puzzle of life. Like find people are looking for that missing piece, which is you. And when you find your place, you will see different aspects of who you are just bloom.
yeah,
Especially for me, I just always wanted to help people, but I was shy and scared of what they might think
mhm,
about, how they would think of me if I wanted to help them. Or sometimes I sit on the bus and I'm like, I wonder if this person is hungry because they keep looking over, and I'd
yeah,
offer them and they'd be like, it would literally change somebody's a whole afternoon. These small things that you think are, you know, a bit intrusive or it doesn't happen often. Like,
yeah.
try them out, do them,
I love
be
that.
who
I,
you
lo-
are.
I love that you're expressing that, that gentle nature that you said you have, but that teacher in you where you can also recognize that. You got to be careful though here in New York City. Like mental illness is very high. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Assaults are up by 19%. So you see somebody staring at you, I'll be, thinking about it. Like, let me be careful. You don't want to offer everybody food. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
honest. It's not really. They might not be hungry, hungry for
Yeah,
what
I
you
know.
got, but they might not be hungry. Let's talk mental health for a second. How do you personally like protect your peace, and what does self care look like for you in real life, not just like on social media? You know how everybody's like, I, I'm in yoga and I'm
Mhm.
like, doing this and doing what does self care look like for you in real
I know
life?
I told you this before, but I've mentioned self-care for me looks like me
Yeah.
saying no to family, saying no to
Hmm.
myself, saying no to anything that makes me feel like I have to strain myself beyond what I'm capable of
Hmm.
doing. And it's not like a push yourself type of thing. It's like I know deep down I will not be able to do this. So I have to say no, even though I love you, even though I really want to do this thing for you, even though I want to help you, even though I want to extend myself. I simply can't because I don't have the thing that it is you need. And
Wow.
if I do extend myself, I'll be doing a disservice to myself, not only
Hmm.
myself, but also to you, because then I'll be breaking
I
promises.
love that.
I think that's one of the biggest ways
Yeah.
I do.
I love that piece because I've learned within that if I'm doing something that I don't want to do, I'm doing a disservice to you because I'm not going to be able to give you 100%, and then you're going to grade me on the fact I didn't give you 100%,
Yeah.
and so it would be better if I felt 100% about this, then I'm able to pour into you and you're able to receive a better version of me. But if I'm not able to give you a better version of me at this particular point, then you're going to say, I'm not the person who you thought I was, and you're going to run and lead with that. So I have to be real with you at all times. And, that's
That's
to
a
my own
difficult thing.
detriment at times. You
That's
said
a very
what?
difficult thing. I said that's a very difficult thing to do. People
Hmm.
are oftentimes deceiving themselves of who they actually are, and they don't ask people who they are. Like, how do you see me? Like, that's really, I think that's a really important thing to do with the people
Hmm.
around you. Ask them how they see you. Because one thing I heard was that I was unreliable, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
And they started pointing out these things in myself that I was blind
Come on.
to.
Let's talk about that, right? Like, the people like getting that feedback and being open and honest. I've gave people feedback, they don't like it, and I had a hard time accepting feedback at times. And my mom used to always tell me, you got to be able to take a joke, man. Like when we joke with you, you got to be able to, like, I'm joking with you,
Yeah.
laugh at it and go on. But sometimes the ego, I mean, the ego is bigger than us. Sometimes we think it's bigger than our spirit. So if you
Uh,
hurt my pride, I'm like, to get up out of here, And sometimes we gotta. Barack Obama once said, "You gotta not take yourself so serious. You gotta be able to laugh at yourself sometimes."
mm,
And I believe in that. Um, as a teacher, what mental health struggles do you notice sometimes in your students, and how do you support them emotionally, especially coming from, and especially those that may share similar backgrounds as you?
mm. Um, I'm gonna have to end it with this question too.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. I For my students, especially because they're kids, they're super, super emotional.
Hmm.
And it's hard for them to understand why they have to go through a certain thing or face a certain consequence.
Mm,
And sometimes that understanding takes time because they're developing mentally too. But
that's a fact.
because they're developing mentally, a lot of the mental things that they go through is managing anger and
Hmm.
sadness. And we always we always we always try, as teachers, we always try our best to make sure that we bring understanding. And also, despite whatever it is, let them have their moment. Like sometimes you need that outburst. That's one thing that I do. I allow myself to have that outburst. It might not be in front of people. it
Hmm.
might it might be in front of people that I'm secure with, or it might be with myself at home. Like, let them have a safe corner to just cry, and sometimes even outside of the classroom and the dean's office, let them go scream. And then after they're done having that outlet,
Hmm.
that's the moment when they're now able to be receptive. And it's very important. People often try to ignore these emotions, like, I don't give a f, I don't, like, you're lying. Why are you lying to yourself?
Hmm.
Allow your body to process these emotions. Then after you are finally able, I mean, it might take some time, but after you're finally able to process those things, you will come to a different level of acceptance, understanding, acknowledgement, and then
Yes.
change. That's how our kids develop, literally. You they go through that process, and you teach them after they're after sorry, I'm getting a little bit
You get
tongue
worked
tied.
up.
No, not worked up, but tongue tied.
It's all right. Listen, we're all human here, so it's all good. Hmm.
So yeah, once they're in that receptive stage is when you teach them healthier ways to communicate how they feel
Hmm.
and and process their emotions, taking deep breaths. We always talk about this. The simplest things that you think are stupid are often the things that help us the most. It's what your brain needs at that point in time. Simplicity rather than something complex. Just bring it back.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for stepping in. Thank you so much for being A1 today. Thank you so much for
No
taking it,
problem.
taking the time out to to talk to me. Don't
Yes,
forget to share
Evan.
this. Don't forget to
Of
like it.
course.
I wish you nothing but the best on your journey. Continue doing great work. Before you go, give us one one final thought on just where can people find you first and foremost. They're looking to book you.
If you are interested in booking me, you can find me on Instagram as Anatha Richards, Anatha Richards. That is my modeling page.
Hmm.
Um, you can also find me on YouTube.
Nice.
You can, same thing, Anatha Richards. Um, those are my main pages that you can find me
Okay.
on. And
Just
you can
one.
also find me at Explore Charter Schools. Just
Okay.
come in. You can also bring your child here. We're open arms.
Hmm.
Open arms.
That's dope. Real quick before you go, give us one advice, just one piece of advice. You could be 30 seconds to a young woman or a young man that might be interested in getting in modeling. What would your advice be?
Do the thing that people are telling you you can't do and stop hesitating. Do not hesitate. In the modeling industry, you're going to face a lot of rejection, and that is okay. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Mm,
Do the thing that you are most afraid to do, and do not hesitate when you do it.
that's right. I appreciate you. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace.
Bye.